Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Shri Chinmaya Yatishasya Gurum Vande Tapovanam Tam Himavad Vibhutim Vai Jnana Vairagya Rupinam Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagam Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vridhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti Nastarsho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. My humble salutations to you all. So we have in the Prasnopanishad, we did the Shanti mantra. Om Bhadram Karnebi Shrunuyam Deva Bhadram Pashe Maksha Bhirya Jatraha and so on. So the idea is that the teacher and the student are praying for auspiciousness, maybe hear everything auspicious, maybe see everything that is auspicious, and that can only happen when I speak auspicious, and when I do auspicious, then I will hear. And that's what Gurudev said. If everybody does that, there will be no need for prisons, there will be no poverty, there will be no violence, world will be heaven. And then, of course, the teacher and the student invoke the grace of all the heavenly bodies, Indra, Vayu, Devta, and so on, so that all their, not only their sense organs, but even their organs of action, which Indra represents hands, may they all perform auspicious deeds. And that's the Shanti mantra. And of course, they ask for Shanti. Everybody knows that 3 times. And then in the query number 1, which is the first mantra of this Upanishad, we got the names of the various students. So there were 6 students. I won't repeat the names, but they were all of very evolved lineage. They were all sons of rishis, very, belonging to a very high evolved families. And they had approached the teacher with the idea that they should get Brahma Vidya. See, they already had Apara Vidya. They already knew about rituals. They already had done a lot of prayers. Some of them had even actually had darshan of Bhagwan. Bhagwan had manifested to them. And they had studied exhaustively the Vedas, the mantras, and all that. But all that is considered apara vidya. Even the Vedas are considered apara vidya. Apara means of this world. To experience that supreme consciousness, one has to go beyond the intellect. So the Vedas are the direct pointers to that, and that's why the study of the Vedas is important. But one has to even transcend that, and that's what even Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, that even just as a person who is thirsty goes for a well, but when there is the whole village is flooded, he does not need to go to the well. So similarly, a person can go to the Vedas for knowledge, but when he revels in that total knowledge, then he even transcends the Vedas. So that is what they wanted. And so they approached the Rishi. So now let us see what is the first. Actually, they have not yet asked the question. When they came to the Rishi with Samit Pani, with readiness to get this knowledge, and with the confidence that the Rishi will reveal it to us, then the Rishi said something which will chant today. Sharad, you may please chant mantra number 2.
What page are we on? I'm sorry.
In the 32? New book, it is on page 32, but different books could have different. Tanhasa Rishi Ruvacha.
Tanhasa Rishi Uvacha.
Bhuya eva tapase. Bhuya eva tapasa brahmacharyena.
Bhuya eva tapasa brahmacharyena.
Shraddhaya samvatsaram.
Shraddhaya samvatsaram.
Samvatsyatha.
Samvatsyatha.
Yatha kamam prishnan prichata.
Yatha kamam prashnan prachata.
Yadi vijñāsyāmaha.
Yadi vijñāsyamaha.
Sarvam havo vakshyama iti.
Sarvam havo vakshyama iti.
Yeah, so Tan, to those 6 students, indeed, very clearly, Saha Rishi, that Rishi, who is that? That is Pippalada Rishi. We had heard about his life, how glorious he was. And the word Pippalada has actually quite a few meanings, so maybe I'll cover them here. One meaning of Pippalada is one who eats the fruit, Pippala fruit. So that means who has understood what is the fruit of knowledge, what is the knowledge indicating that he has clearly understood. Pippali also means hot pepper. So he used to eat hot pepper. What it means is the fire of knowledge had burnt. He had burnt all his desires and had become one with that. So that Pippalada Rishi, Uvacha, he spoke. He said, what did he say? Bhuya eva. Bhuya eva means again, indeed. There are 3 instrumental case. Tapasa means by tapas. Brahmacharyena means by brahmacharya. And Shraddhaya. So we say, I know what is tapas. I know what is brahmacharya. I know what is Shraddha. Let's move on. But we will cover some points of these that I also got when I listened to the commentary. So by tapas, by brahmacharya, and by Shraddha, samvatsaram. Samvatsara means for 1 year. Samvatsyatha, stay here completely. Sam means completely stay here. Not I'm staying here and my mind is somewhere on my job or my wife or my children or my parents. Stay here with samvatsyatha, say with full attention. And after 1 year, yatha kamam, whatever your desire is, prashnan prichata. Ask your question. We'll talk about that. Prashnan prichata, that is an instruction. You can ask the question, whatever you want to ask. Yadi vijñāsyāmaha. Yadi means in case, vijñāsyāmaha, we know. So here Rishi's humility says, in case, if we know the answers, Sarvam havo vakshyama iti. Sarvam, everything indeed. Vaha, to you. Vakshyama iti, we will tell. So student said, wait a minute, wait a minute. If you don't know the answers, then I have wasted my 1 year. Pata nahi, whether he will tell or not. Chalo abhi chalte hain. I don't want to waste 1 year staying with this rishi, because he said, if I know the answers, I will tell you. If he doesn't know, then what? Then I have to go to another rishi? No, they had complete faith. They had already come with Samit Pani, with total surrender, and they knew the fame of this Pipalada Rishi, and they knew that he will answer. And as you will see in these mantras, how beautifully the Rishi has answered the questions. Not only answered the question as question, but what the student was thinking, and at the level of the student, beautifully he has answered. So let us cover this briefly. So Bhuya Eva, we said, these people had already done tapas. They had done 20 years of tapas. They had done all the sadhanas. They knew all the Vedas. So why is he asking us 1 more year? And why is he asking us to stay with full attention in the ashram? Because unlike university, professor says, I teach and you listen, whether you understand or not, I don't care, because I get paid. So he'll come, deliver his talk and go away. Student ko samajh aaya, nahi aaya, that's not my problem, long as I get my paycheck. And the student and the teacher don't have to be tuned up. Right now, we even study on the internet. So there is no tuning of the teacher and the student. But here, the idea is that by staying 1 year and serving, see, that is very important. You don't just stay there and eat the food and enjoy. No, you are serving the teacher, you are serving the ashram. Not that the teacher needs service, but by service, your willingness to acquire the knowledge and the humility that I'm ready to do anything for this knowledge. And they may have come from great families, as you can see, they were from great, but they said, we'll do whatever is required in the ashram, cleaning, whatever is needed. And also in this, the intensity of the student, that how seriously does he want this knowledge? That's what the teacher wants to know, that is this student even serious, or he just showed up for time pass? I have nothing else to do. Let me go and study Prasnopanishad. No, not like that. He is sincere. So let us see, there are three things: tapasa, brahmacharya, and shraddha. So brahmacharya is at the physical level, tapas is at the mental level. Actually, brahmacharya and tapas are at both levels, physical and mental. But brahmacharya is more predominantly at the physical level. Tapas is at the mental level. And shraddha is at the intellectual level. So that's why 3 pointers are given, that physically, mentally, and intellectually, you should tune up your mind. So what is physical brahmacharya? That is, as we know, self-control. We know that it's not only the sensual, but control in all activities, not speaking too much, not seeing too much, not hearing too much, not spending time binge watching, or, just wasting time here and there. So control in speech, control in seeing, so sense organs and organs of action should be controlled. Why do they insist on that? And why do they insist that the student must stay with the teacher? So the student must stay with the teacher because he has to see how this teacher conducts himself the whole year. How does a man of wisdom live? So by living with the teacher and watching, and they are not attending any Vedanta lectures, they are not doing anything, they are just, maybe they are meditating, doing their pujas, their sadhanas, but they watch the teacher, how does a man of wisdom live, and they tune their mind with the teacher. So this tuning of the mind is very essential in Vedanta, which is not necessary in physics, chemistry, biology, and so on. And brahmacharya, as we said, is control of senses, and control of organs of action. Why do we need to control? Because when we overindulge, whether it is in activity, overindulge in seeing or hearing or enjoying, then our prana, our ojas gets dissipated. See, talking too much, doing too much unnecessarily. That's why they say withdraw and stay with less activity, less talking, less seeing, and spend your time instead of, oh, I must see here, I must go here, I must go there. Stay in one place and contemplate and try to be in the presence of that atmosphere of the ashram, that beautiful atmosphere. And also one can continue to do the sadhanas, doing some fasting, some tapaha, some chanting, all those things are essential then, for us, of course, not for them, but for us going on pilgrimages, meeting with Mahatmas. So all these sadhanas are to be done. And chanting of the name of the Lord has a lot of power. It is called Sandhanam. So it is said that what is your Ishta mantra? What is your mantra? Like Om Namah Shivaya, that has 6 letters, right? So 6 crore times you must say Om Namah Shivaya. If you say 6 crore, that is 60 million times, you will get enlightenment. I feel sorry for those of you who have Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. You guys are in trouble. No, that's not the point. The point is that as often as you can, you should repeat the mantra. In fact, Gurudev had this one incident happened very beautifully, that he was on Char Dham Yatra and he had gone to all the Char Dham, and then he stayed 1 month in Badrinath. And in 1 month, he chanted the mantra Om Namah Shivaya 600,000 times, 6 lakh times. That means 20,000 times a day. How can a person chant one mantra 20,000 times a day? So Gurudev said that what he did was, he chanted the mantra while he was awake constantly. That's all he was doing. And when he was asleep, he tuned his pranas to the mantra. So even when he was sleeping, his heart was beating and the mantra was going on. His breathing was going on. So the point is that 20,000 times a day, and he did that. And not only that, but he used to do another sadhana where he used to close his eyes when he was a young boy, and his parents used to keep him long time to do this long Shiva pujas, and he would get bored. So he would sit and he would close his eyes. Then he would open his eyes, visualize the form of Lord Shiva, and then close his eyes and try to see every detail, smallest. So unknowingly, he was doing one of the great sadhanas, where if you can close your eyes and completely visualize the form of your Ishtadevta, that is a great sadhana. And we find that we do that in the world. A person owning a shop, what he will do, he will go at 8 o'clock, 7 days a week. He will go 8 o'clock in the morning, get the shop ready, open at 9, open till 8, 9 at night. And he's constantly working. And then the servant brings a beautiful lunch from the restaurant. He's eating. In the middle of the lunch, a customer comes. He drops the lunch. ठीक है, आपकी क्या सेवा कर सकता हूँ? What can I do? So he is ready to do any kind of tapas and sacrifice for the success of the shop. In fact, most of the time, the old man dies, and who enjoys the money? His daughter-in-law or son-in-law, whom he never liked. Why? Because they say, oh, bichara, old man, he worked so hard, but poor guy never enjoyed his money. And then children, they are, living in a luxurious apartment and using and driving Mercedes and all. Why? Because the poor old man. So the point is that tapas we are ready to do for these things, but it is not applied in spirituality. So Brahmacharya does not mean sense deprivation, but living a life of moderation. Living a life of moderation, where what this does is increase your medha shakti. There's another incident of Pujya Gurudev. In those days, they didn't have computers, so all his names and addresses, because Gurudev himself used to write letters and reply to all his devotees when they wrote. And early in the morning, 3 o'clock, he would get up and be writing. And so one time his secretary lost the book, his address book, that had 2,000 names and addresses and some phone numbers. Without getting angry, Gurudev said, "You lost it, doesn't matter, sit down and I'll tell you all." And all 2,000 he named perfectly with name, address, without any mistake. So the point is, and somebody asked him, "How do you do that?" He was one answer, Brahmacharya. Living a life of self-control with the mind connected to the Lord, that is Brahmacharya. Also, one other meaning of Brahmacharya is Brahmani Charati iti Brahmacharya. One whose mind always revels in Brahman is called Brahmacharya. So this reminds me of a story. This this student was learning karate and judo and all from his master, and he had been there for 1 or 2 years, and he still did not learn. So he said, "Master, I'm not able to learn whatever you are teaching." So master says, "Tell me one thing. Have you seen the beautiful sunrise behind the ashram above from the mountains?" "Yes, master, I have seen that." "Have you seen how the wind flows through the meadows and it brings the scent of the flowers?" "Yes, master, I have experienced that." "Have you seen at night how the full moon shines in the water and beautifully all the waves?" "Yes, master, I have seen that." Master says, "That is your problem. You are seeing all these things and not doing your training." That's why you are not learning. So the point is that single pointed attention is required. Now we will come to the next one, which is tapas. People think of tapas as standing on one leg, in the heat and cold and suffering for years on end. So tapas is at the physical level, but more at the mental level, where the mind has to become steadfast and be single pointed. Ekagrata, they call that, the single pointed mind, where my only focus now is that Brahma Vidya, and that's why I am here. And so doing all those same activities, fasting and all that, but again, living a life of moderation, not overindulgence and not over deprivation. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in the 6th chapter, one who overeats won't get this tapas, one who does not eat won't get, one who oversleeps, one who does not sleep, one who works too much, one who doesn't work at all. So living a life of moderation. And why should we do that? Because the individual needs to rise above his mind and intellect. So when the mind and intellect is focused on that one goal, and this person has the right knowledge from the teacher and has done all the appropriate sadhanas, then he will go above, transcend the BMI, which even for a gold medal in the Olympics, these people transcend their body, mind, intellect, everything, because their goal is that. And for years they train morning, evening, diet, moderation. They won't go out, won't go for parties. Why? I have to win the gold medal. So this goal is much higher than winning the Olympic gold medal. And through this knowledge, you sublimate. It's not, as we had said, it's not suppression of desires. It is not indulgence of desires. It is sublimating the desires. When the mind is tuned to the higher, then the lower automatically falls off. We have talked about that before also. So that is tapas. Then the third one, the Rishi says, is Shraddha. Shraddha is at the intellectual level. And what is Shraddha? Shankaracharya ji says it very beautifully. Total faith in the words of the teacher and the scriptures. Guru Vakyeshu Shastreshu. So total faith, he says that in Vivek Chudamani, and that a student who has complete faith and he knows that my teacher knows this knowledge, and if it is written in the Vedas, if it is there in Bhagavad Gita, not even a trace of question should arise. 100% it is true. I may not understand it. So if I don't agree with what's written, it is even in Vivek Chudamani, we said, the deficiency is not in the prameya, not in God. There are three things: pramata, pramanam, prameya. Prameya means whom do I need to know? Brahman or God. There is no deficiency in him. Then pramanam are the instruments, which are the Vedas. There is no deficiency in the Vedas. So where is the deficiency? Pramata, in me. So if I don't understand the scriptures, I need to fix myself and develop that. And total astikeya. Astikeya, Nastik means one who does not believe. Astik means one who has total faith in the existence of a higher power. And this higher power will protect me. That's why they say Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam. Only a person with Shraddha can get knowledge, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. And it's a simple story, but Vasudev ji, when he was carrying baby Krishna on his head, and we all know the story, he went and the Jamna ji was rising because of heavy rain. He didn't say, "Arey, wait for the rain to stop, I'll come back later." He kept on walking. Jamna ji rose up to his mouth. His nose was, he said, "I have Bhagwan on my head." He didn't say, "Pata nahi ye baby hai, whether he's Bhagwan or not." No, he had total faith. And that's what Bhagwan did, put his foot out, touched his toe, and Yamuna ji receded. Because Yamuna ji also wanted to touch Bhagwan. See, that's why she was coming up there. So, there's a rekha. So that is the faith of this seeker, that there is complete faith in Bhagwan, that there is Bhagwan. Bhagwan will protect me, and Bhagwan will make sure that the right knowledge comes. That's why we had talked about the wheelbarrow. I think I talked in the Sunday class that I have to put my effort to go up to a particular point. After that, Bhagwan takes over and he will guide us, he will lead us. So complete faith and complete surrender. See, this ego, one has to be very cautious, because the ego can arise anytime, that I am very good in this, I am good in talking, I am good in chanting, I am good in service, I am good in cooking. Any of these egos can very quickly arise. So one has to be very, very careful. Now the next one is Yatha Kamam Prishnan. So ask your questions. Don't ask somebody else's questions. Don't say, "Oh, my friend wants to know," or "My brother had told me when you go to the Rishi, ask." No, ask your questions. Yatha Kamam Prishnan. And don't ask the Rishi, "When will my daughter get married?" I cannot find a boy for her, or my son is not studying, he's not teenager, he's not listening to me, can you talk to him? No. When you go to a spiritual teacher, ask spiritual questions. As we had said, you don't go to a lawyer and ask him medical questions. So when you go to a spiritual master, ask him spiritual questions, your questions. And here, when the Rishi says, "Yadi vignasyamaha sarvam havo vakshyama iti." So, yadi, if we know, then we will tell you. So, we know is not that Rishi does not know. The Rishi is Brahma Jnani. He knows everything that is to be known. But it shows the humility of the teacher. He's not saying, I know everything. No, he's very humble, even though he is enlightened. Actually, they say, Jnanam dadati vinayam. If you truly have knowledge, you should become more humble. If you're not becoming humble, then you are not getting the knowledge. So that is shows the humility of the teacher. And he says, Vakshama, we will tell you completely. Sarvam ha vaha, to you Vakshama. What it means is that the teacher says that whatever I know, I will share with you 100%. It's not that we will hold back something, so that the student should not reach my level. Sometimes some teachers say, I don't want this person to then become a more famous rishi than me, and he will have more followers than I. We get caught in that. Oh, how many followers I have. And even in the churches, people get caught. When we are all doing God's work, it doesn't matter who has more followers, who has less followers, who has more people who like him on Facebook, on Instagram. Rishi is not doing for all that. He has already given up the world. So he does not care about name or fame or Tapovan Maharaj used to have only 4 or 5 students because his conditions were so strict that ordinary student runs away. He used to say that I will tell you one time, and if you can't answer the question next time, you have to leave. So students says better leave right now rather than leave after 6 months or 1 year when he kicks us out. So they have no interest because they have given up world. They have no interest in money, property, nothing, because they revel in Brahman. Brahmani charati. They always revel in Brahman. So for them, they are sharing out of compassion, out of kindness, out of love for the student, not that they are attempting to gain anything out of it. In fact, most of the Upanishads don't even have the name of the rishi, don't have the name of the student. Some of them just start and just end. We don't know who the rishi was. We don't know who the student was because there was no patent that I have written. So everybody should recognize. No, rishis were beyond all that. So that is mantra number 2. Now we'll do mantra number 3, which is in page 36 in this new book. Parsha Ben can please chant. Atha kabandhi katyayana
अथ कबन्धि कात्यायन
upetya papricha
उपेत्य पपृच्छ
bhagavan kuto hava
भगवन् कुतो हवा
imah praja prajayanta iti.
इमा प्रजा प्रजायन्त इति.
Yeah, so Atha, now after 1 year, now 1 year has passed, students have stayed with tapas, with Brahmacharya, with Shraddha, complete faith in God and complete faith in the Guru, and they have no doubts at all. So there were 6 students. If you read the names, Kabandhi was the last one. He was the 6th one, but he asks the first question. So it goes backward from how they were listed in the original. If you see the list of the original ones, first is Sukesha, then, Gargya, and so on, so on. So Kabandhi was the last, but he asks the first question. And who was he? Katyayana. So his father was Katyayana Rishi, and he was the son of Katyayana. So he was called Katyayana. Upetya, having approached, Upetya is Lya Pratyaya, those who are studying Sanskrit, having approached the teacher, Papracha. So he asked this question. Pracha means he asked. So what was the question? Bhagwan. Bhagwan here means, Bhagwan means Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. So he sees the Guru as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Guru Sakshat Para Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So when we say that, one should not mechanically say that, but understand that Puja Gurudev, who has given us this knowledge, is the manifestation of Bhagwan himself. So he says, Bhagwan, O Lord, O Guru, O teacher, Kuto. Kuto means Kutaha. That is the 5th case. Kutaha, ha, indeed. Va. Va means truly, really. Ima praja. This praja. This praja means all this what we see. All the animals, birds, plants, fish, humans. Not only humans, but all beings prajayante is born iti. Thus he asks. So he says, from where praja is born? Oh, I didn't, yeah. So even a high school student knows male and female meet. So child is born, and same way animals, and same way plants, same way fish. What kind of question? Why is he asking this? You have to remember that this question is asked in the Upanishads. It's not asked in a biology high school class. It is asked in the Upanishads and asked by a student who is highly evolved, who has done many years of tapas, has done all these sadhanas, and he's asking a rishi who is an enlightened master. So he's not asking kuta va prajayanta iti, where did this praja come from? Anybody knows that. Or science will say Big Bang. No, when it is asked by the student to a teacher in the Upanishads, it's not the physical. It's not how does this child is born. If everybody knows that. It is the student wants to know what is the ultimate cause. Where is the ultimate cause from which the praja has come? Because that is why he has come to the teacher, even though this question appears very simple, physical. But the student is asking, and the teacher knows why the student is asking, because the student wants to know the ultimate cause. When you ask somebody in physics, how did the world come? From matter. Where did matter come? From energy. Where did energy come? From Big Bang. Where did Big Bang come? Oh, we don't know yet, but when we find out, we'll let you know. In the Rig Veda, which is 9,000 BC, 11,000 years ago, the Big Bang is mentioned. They mention about how this golden womb will divide in two and explode. Very clearly, our rishis knew that 9,000 years, 11,000 years ago, which even now the science doesn't know. And they mentioned that there was this strong beam of light, of energy, which penetrated this golden womb, and an explosion happened. So our rishis were way beyond science. So to think that, that our knowledge is inferior, it is not. So other reason for the student to ask is that what is the purpose of my life? Why are we here? Why is all this praja here? Why have I taken birth? Why have I been born to particular parents? Why I am here in this ashram? So why all this praja, and why people are doing what they are doing? Some people are, having, doing this, some are doing bad, some are doing good, some are studying, some are not studying. And also, all this is not mentioned in the question, but will be mentioned in the answer. The teacher knows why the student is asking. And the student also wants to know that a person who has done karma plus upasana, karma means rituals, upasana means the sadhanas, the prayers, what is his gati? Where does he go in between birth? Where does he go? All that is covered in the Rishi's answer. That where does this individual go? What is his gati? What happens? Which worlds does he goes to? And then why does the jiva come back? In what kind of parents? And in subsequent questions, this will be explained in more detail, how prana enters into the body and so on. So as Gurudev says, intellect's job is cause hunting. See, we want to know why something happened. So here the student is not only asking why, but he's asking how. How this has happened. Not only why, what happened, why it happened, and how it happened. All those questions the Rishi will answer. And one has to know one's source, like the bulb. What is the source of bulb is electricity. And the bulb knows that when I'm connected with electricity, of course the bulb is inert, but suppose the bulb had life, it would know, okay, electricity is my master. When the electricity comes, I give light. So similarly, you and I are functioning because of the presence of that electricity, that consciousness, which is illumining everything, energizing everything. And the student wants to know that. He's not asking from where this praja came. So he'll say, men and female, jao, chale jao. That is a one line answer. Student doesn't want that because this is in the Upanishad. And then they say, there are so many theories, and that's the Westerners always criticize, in the Upanishad, one rishi has one theory, other one has other theory, third one has other theory. So they say that all these theories are based on the level of the student. See, the student what level he was, the rishi told him creation at his level. If you're talking to a child, how you say, how does the world created, or when you're talking to a teenager or an adult, and similarly, depending on their spiritual evolution, so many theories. But the idea is not to get stuck on theories. See, people get so stuck on theories, in Kena Upanishad, it said like this, in Prasnopanishad, and then in this Veda, in this mantra. Purpose is not to get stuck in theories. Purpose is to transcend all theories, to transcend the intellect, to understand that no creation is possible. Creation is impossible. There cannot be any creation. So they say, what is all this? That will be answered in the Upanishad, but it is an illusion, because when everything is Brahman and you don't see Brahman, they say, because of the power of Maya, this illusory world has been created. And that is what you and I are experiencing. And we are thinking this world alone is real, and this body alone is real. So there is some Brahman, whether there is or not, we don't know. Why? Because creation can only happen when there is modification. Like when mud is made into a pot, there is modification, right? Mud is changed, transformed, heated, and then made into a pot. So can Brahman be modified to make the world? No. Brahman is avyayam. Can creation come out like a seed? A plant comes out of a seed and the seed dies? No. Brahman didn't die when the creation happened. Purnamada Purnamidam. We had covered that in the last Upanishad. So the point is that no modification is possible in Brahman. Nothing can come out of Brahman. Brahman is everywhere, everything. So if you don't see Brahman, the fault is in our eyes. Because what we say, what I cannot see does not exist. If I can't see it, I don't believe it. They say seeing is believing. So you show me the proof. If I can't hear it, then it's not. And the thing is, we believe some news given by some guy from somewhere because we have heard it. Or internet, oh my God, internet, anybody can put anything, any nonsense can be put by anybody. But we believe that, but we don't believe our rishis who have given us this time-tested knowledge over thousands of years. It has been independently proved and verified by so many rishis. But we say, I'm not sure about that. I need more proof. But some person on the internet writing something, and we say, look, he has given the cause of arthritis, without even knowing who the guy is, what his academic qualifications are. We believe it. Why? Because it was on Wikipedia, it was on internet. But what is in the Upanishads, we doubt. So that is what they say, that seeing Shraddha is believing in what I don't see, so that I may see what I believe in. That's why dhyana, that's why seeing here does not mean visibly seeing, but knowing. That's why our mantra, dhyana vastit tad gatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. So these yogis in their meditation could perceive. Perceive means know it. It's not that they could see Brahman, but know Brahman. And in the world, there are so many things we cannot see. Like, can we see X-rays? No. When we go, when the radiologist is, that technician is, I cannot see the X-ray beam. Can we see infrared light, ultraviolet light? No, we can't see it. But we know that if there's a special instrument, it will be able to see X-rays, it will be able to see infrared, ultraviolet. Now there are telescopes which see light which came shortly after the Big Bang. So that is billions of years ago, the light that came, this telescope is able to see it. But I and you cannot see with our naked eye because it is too subtle for us. So that's why they say that you need a very subtle intellect to be able to perceive this knowledge. Perceive means not physically see, but know it as myself. That is called aparoksha anubhuti. Paroksha anubhuti means seen by somebody else's eyes. Aparoksha anubhuti means I myself know it, it becomes my experience. So that is the essence of these two mantras, mantra number 2 and 3. If we have any questions, we can address them, or otherwise we can just chant the fourth mantra and do the meaning. So anybody has any questions or comments, we can take a few minutes. I would also request people to read Puja Gurudev's commentary because I did not cover those points because I thought you would read it. I tried to get additional points from
talks
other
about
acharyas.
the rishis, it depends on their medium of their, instrument. So that's why different theories are there,
Right.
which
right.
you mentioned.
Yeah. So the rishi also, it is
They
his
look from their own.
but ultimately the final experience of all of them is one, but the theory depends on the level of the student.
Also.
That is the main reason, and why the student is asking and from what
That's
level.
why there are so many.
So that's why there are theories. It's not that, they just came up with them, but their ultimate experience is one. It's like we have mentioned, the top of the mountain, you can go by car, you can go walking, you can go by helicopter, you can go in many ways. But once you reach the top, the experience of the top of the mountain is the same. Whether you came by helicopter or car or bicycle or walking, the experience. So the Rishi's experience is one. There is no, that's why Brahman is said to be Advaita, non-dual. Any questions, any comments?
You can tell the meaning of the next one.
Okay, looks like there is nothing else. So we'll chant. Kerry, you have this one, page 40 in the new. If you want to chant after me, please, you can unmute. Mantra number 4. Tasmai sahovacha.
Tasmai sahovacha.
Praja kamo vai prajapatihi.
Praja kamo vai prajapatihi.
Satapotapyata.
Satapotapyata.
Satapastaptva.
Satapastapva.
Samitunam upadyate.
Samitunam upadayate.
Raim cha pranam cha etyaitau.
Raim cha pranam chetyetau.
Me bahuda prajaha.
Me bahuda prajaha.
Karishyat iti.
Karishyata iti.
So, to Tasmai, to Kabandhi Katyayana Rishi Pipalada Ha Uvacha. He spoke, he said. That's why even in Bhagavad Gita, there is Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So here the Rishi spoke. And what did he say? Prajapati. Prajapati is the Lord of all the creatures, said to be the creator. You can say Brahmaji, or some people use it as Hiranyagarbha. We'll talk about that. What is the difference between Brahmaji and Hiranyagarbha? We'll talk next week. So Praja Kamo Vai Prajapati. So Prajapati had this desire to create beings, not only humans, but all beings, animals, birds, plants, fish, everything. Sat tapaha tapyata. So he did penance. And for any new creation, one has to have tapa. So tapas was done, and we'll talk about the meaning of that next week. And sa tapas taptva. Taptva means, tapa means heat, so tapas taptva means having performed this tapas, sa mithunam utpadayate. Utpadayate means created. Mithunam means pair of two. And as we know, for creation, you need a pair. So here the pair was created. And what was the pair? Raim cha pranam cha. So Rai and Pranam. So Rai is very loosely translated as matter and Pranam as energy, but Pranam means a lot more. Actually, the more than half the Upanishad is stuti of prana. What is this prana? That is worshipped in throughout up to third question of the Upanishad. So pranam here is a lot more than just breathing. We think prana means, okay, prana, apana, vyana, samana. No, it is a lot more than that. So pranam and raim cha etau. So these two, when they come together, may bahuda prajaha. So may they create my beings. So Prajapati is the origin. So he says my, in that sense that this whole universe is created, not out of arrogance, but it is the fact, that we came from Prajapati. So may bahuda. Bahuda means a lot of. Praja karishyat. May they create. It is future tense. They will produce iti. So having created these two, this pair, now he knows, the Prajapati knows, and Prajapati is again is not just a being, but there is a lot more to discuss. So we'll talk about that next week. Who this Prajapati is, why did he do tapas, what was the tapas, what was creation, and in detail, what is the meaning of Rai and Prana. So that we'll cover next week. So he says, these two, this pair of Rai and Prana will produce the entire universe. And that's what Bible also says, Adam and Eve. But this is a lot more than physical. It's Manu and Shatrupa, we say. But it's not a physical creation. It's a lot more than that. Because again, it is in the Upanishads. It's not in a biology textbook or not told to high school students. So we'll see what is the meaning of Rai, Prana, what is creation, and what is Prajapati, and what is the tapas, and what is this pair, and how does it work. So that will study next week.
And why they ask Kabandi's question first?
I think because his was the simplest, the grossest. Because what happened is that this Upanishad starts from the body, then goes to the mind, the pranas, and then to Om, Upasana, and then to the final. So his question was the most grossest, means starting from the body level. See, how does this creation come into being? So what is visible world? So that's why the grossest question is asked first. And then as we will see, each question will become subtler and subtler, ultimately to what is the nature of consciousness. So 6 questions, and very beautifully this Upanishad follows this path. And there is Gurudev's commentary is very good, but I'll try to give additional information,
maybe
whatever I can.
Rishi must have seen the level of students.
Yes, again, yes. Maybe that may be another thing. See, Rishi must have seen.
1 year they are staying with the teacher, so teacher can also know who is at what level.
Exactly.
So maybe he asked him or he approached him.
Right. And also they say when the question is to be asked, has to be done with humility and at the right time, not when the Rishi is doing something, or he's going for a walk, you walk with him and say, oh, Rishi, can you please tell me what? No, when the Rishi is sitting down, when quietly he's sitting down, like Guruji's story, everybody might have heard, it's a very funny story. Guruji was, that time Brahmacharya was wearing yellow, and they didn't have cars for all of them. So he was going to go do some yagna lecture, and he was in the train holding on to in Bombay train. If you have traveled, I've traveled a lot. It is so packed, you can't even move. And when the station comes, they just push you out. You can't even get out. It was so packed, and it is sweat and heat and, you know, all that. And there he was holding on. Guruji, he was, what was his name? Which Chaitanya was he? I forgot.
Vivek,
I think
I
Vivek
don't-
or huh?
I don't-
Something like that. That was his name. So he was holding on. So this man next to him, so he saw this man in yellow, Guruji, Swami Tejomayanand. That time he was
So he
Brahmacharya. He
was-
said, "Oh, Swamiji." So he said, "Huh?" He said, "Swamiji, ek baat batao. Can you tell me one thing?"
What's in the
So Swami Guruji said, what do you want to know? He says, "Ye Bhagavad Gita mein likha kya hai?" What is written in the Bhagavad Gita? He's trying to hold on to that. So that is not how you approach a teacher, you know. Isme likha kya hai? Can you tell? Because he is between two stations, right? His station is going to come in 5 minutes. Time pass ke liye, there's a Swami here. Why don't I learn about Bhagavad Gita? So that is not how you approach, and that is what we see here, the humility of the students and the humility of the teacher, and how they tune their mind. And that's why a particular student, based on his level, but all questions we'll see lead us to the final, all the 6 questions. It's not that only in the 6th question the final will be revealed. It will be revealed by the Rishi in all the 6 questions. So it's a very beautiful Upanishad, very scientific. You will see how scientific, how much science they knew, these rishis, will be covered, especially when we talk about prana and how all the prana travels through the vessel beautifully.
That's what attracted me to the
Right.
Vedanta.
Most scientific Upanishad out of all of them.
For me, that
It is
was
100% science. There is no believe it or like that. None of that.
Thank you.
Any other?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Any other questions, comments? Lata, you have question?
Yeah, in on the page, I'm sorry, I'm going back to mantra number 1, but it says, indicate here by the terms Brahmapara and Brahmanista as qualifications of the 6 seekers.
Right. So Brahmapara means they are pursuing that, and Brahmanistha means they are abiding in that knowledge.
Okay.
But this Brahma is the Apara Brahma, the Saguna Brahma.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
form, that means whether it's Sri Krishna or Lord Shiva or, you know, Mother Saraswati. So it is the Saguna Brahma, which is not really lower, but it is the Saguna Brahma that they have already understood it, experienced it, even some of them have had darshan. But Brahma Anveshamanaha means they want the, not that there is a lower or a higher Brahman, there is only one Brahman, but the form and the formless. So through the form, they want to go to the formless, which is all pervading, which is not limited by one form, which is beyond all names, forms, qualities, words, beyond everything, even beyond the Vedas, that they want to know. Anveshamana means they are seeking. Anvesha means it is like doing a research, searching.
I see. Okay.
Sharad, you have question?
Yes. So in this shloka that just we did in number 4, it says tapo tapyata and then tapas tapatva. You know, sometimes they use the word austerity in the tapas form, and the other times in this one they use penance. Any comments on that, or
As what?
The austerity or
austerity versus penance?
It's the same. It's the same. Austerity
Yeah.
and penance is the same. It's just 2 different words which describe the same thing, as we talked about tapas, where you are concentrating the mind, making it single pointed and controlling the senses. And then that is called tapas. It's not, you know, torturing your body, but making the body and the mind single pointed. So these are just 2 different words, but mean the same. Again, you know, people have this idea that he sat for, you know, 20, 30 years in the Himalayas. Not like that. He studied, did all the sadhan chatushtaya, and then sat in front of the teacher with humility and with surrender. So that is tapas.
Thank you.
we'll end. We'll do the closing prayer. There's one announcement. Brahmachari Soham Chaitanya Ji will be coming to Bakersfield March 27th to 30, which is Sunday to Wednesday, but not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after that. And he will be speaking in the evening, 7 to 8:30. You must have received the email. And the topic is called Divinizing the Mind, how the mind can be purified. And it is a particular stuti of Lord Shiva that will be used for this topic. And then in the afternoon on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 28, 29, and 30, we are planning satsang with Brahmachari Ji, and it will be from 11:30 to 12:30, and then followed by lunch. So if Varsha Ben is still here, she can, please try to coordinate, and she can talk to Neeru. So we'll have a satsang on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We are trying to decide on a topic. I was thinking of Totakashtam, which is that very beautiful. Maybe we'll ask him or any other that Brahmachari Ji will choose. So we'll have satsang in the afternoon, which is not in the email, 11:30 to 12:30, and whoever can attend. And try to attend in person. We would request everybody to attend in person.
So nice to get the vibration.
Yeah.
Very, very nice, very warm,
He's very nice, very clearly explained, and sitting in front of a teacher is a lot more than Zoom. But those who are from out of town will see, what we can arrange something. We'll try. Lata and Madhuben and all. Moini auntie are out of town, so we'll.
How we will get the lunch?
That we don't know.
You won't get that. We'll send it to you by FaceTime. Manasik, Ratne Kalpitamasanam Himajalaihi, with Shiv Manas Puja, you can do that. You can Shiv Manas food you can get. Yeah, so we'll do that. Thank you.
Definite food is not important. It's just main thing is
main thing is being in his presence and listening.
Yeah, presence, yeah.
Right.
And it's very nice.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll end with Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.